Global security, trade and investment have dominated talks between President Cyril Ramaphosa and his Finnish counterpart Sauli Niinistö at the Union Buildings in Pretoria. Niinistö is in South Africa on a state visit. The two leaders focused on the Russia-Ukraine conflict and its impact on global security. They also engaged with the business sector, where they discussed how to boost economic ties between the two countries. Let's now speak to our international editor, Sophie Mokoena. Sophie, thank you so much for your time. Clearly, the elephant in the room was the war in Ukraine. Are the two countries singing the same tune?
Well, clearly they are not. You look at what the president of Finland said in relation to the country joining NATO, and you also look at what President Ramaphosa said in terms of the South African position, in terms of the relationship with Russia. They are not. But these are old friends, and they were very diplomatic. They were able to handle the questions around Ukraine very well, but still differing in terms of what should be the position in terms of what has transpired in Ukraine since the war started last year. You look at Finland saying that it was in 2021 when Russia made a statement that they will not allow countries or NATO to expand to the east, and that started as something that was very kind of not accepted by people in Finland. And then later in 2022, when the war started, that popularity of joining NATO became even more. Voices saying, let's join NATO, and it is for that reason they've joined NATO. And therefore South Africa continuing to say the only solution is to engage the two parties and they must negotiate, and South Africa standing firm on its non-aligned position.
And what did we hear from the president when it comes to the visit by Vladimir Putin? Of course, this is a much-awaited visit. A lot of people talking about it later on this year, despite the arrest warrant against him.
Well, the president pointed out that they are still discussing this matter, but we saw reports that President Putin has indicated that he has accepted the invitation. It's not clear whether in person or virtual, but clearly we will get more information when the Russian Federation Foreign Affairs Minister Sergei Lavrov is in South Africa in June, where he is going to participate during the meeting of foreign affairs ministers of the BRICS nations. And therefore, we will get clarity. But also the president saying that, in fact, there's confusion as I speak to you now. And it's something that I think our politics team will have to really investigate. When you look at the ANC statement today, it says the ANC took a decision to rescind a 2017 resolution to withdraw. But the other paragraph talks about how the ANC is aggrieved by the double standards of the ICC. And therefore, that's the statement, a written statement. Now, at the media briefing, when there were follow-up questions, the Secretary General of the ANC, Fikile Mbalula, pointed out that the NEC took a resolution to ask its deployees or to ask government to withdraw from the ICC. In other words, almost backtracking to the resolution of 2022, where they decided that they are not going to pull out of the ICC based on the resolution of 2017. Then I asked the president, I was very clear, and I don't think President Ramaphosa misinterpreted my question. I said to him, Mr. President, the Secretary General of the ANC is saying the NEC over the weekend took a decision that South Africa must pull out of the ICC. What is your reaction? Is this true? And the president responded. Let's take a listen at what the president said to clear this confusion.
All right. Also, it doesn't look like that particular clip is there. Maybe just tell us what the president had to say.
No, I think let's take a listen. There's a sound bite. I don't want to, again, cause more confusion. I think it will be better when the president is saying it. Perhaps let's get to that clip and let's take a listen at what the president had to say.
Largely because of the manner in which the ICC has been seen to be dealing with these types of problems. And there's also been commentary, I believe, from Amnesty International, where there's been a reflection on what many people believe is an unfair treatment. And our view is that we would like this matter of unfair treatment to be properly discussed. But in the meantime, the governing party has decided once again that there should be a pull-out. So that will be a matter that will be taken forward.
Well, clearly the president saying a pull-out, a pull-out. So I don't understand where the confusion is in relation to the position of the ANC and EC.
And I think also, as you say, it's going to be one that really needs to be put succinctly to, because the president's saying one thing, and once again, the issue of mixed messaging becoming a huge one here. So certainly hope to see what happens with, how the politics just takes that forward. But there's another story also that we spoke about, you and I, yesterday, and really, a tragedy that is unfolding in Sudan. A lot of concern about people that are, trying to make their way out, and a lot of concern even about some of those who are still trapped inside. Let's talk about, this particular conflict and what was said on this particular matter.
Well, the two leaders agree that there should be a solution to the current impasse, and also calling for cessation of hostilities. There's a truce, 72-hour truce, but it is not holding. Fighting is continuing. It has escalated. We saw the foreign nationals from other countries being evacuated from Khartoum, and most of these big countries like your G7 countries have taken their citizens to Djibouti. South Africa did evacuate its citizens, and some nationals from the region. They took the route of going through Egypt, and we expect our nationals to arrive in the country perhaps tomorrow. And I think it is a serious problem, and the president's voice was quite telling. He was at pains trying to send a message to the two generals that this is time for cessation of hostilities, and also to respect the ceasefire, but above all, the United Nations, the AU, and the IGAD, the regional body, to do everything in their power to ensure that they bring these two parties together for permanent solution and for permanent cessation of hostilities.
And one can certainly hope that, the situation does improve somewhat there, because what we're seeing unfolding on the ground is really worrying. But let's see then what, our own locals are telling us about what is happening on the ground through their vantage point. I'm sure it'll be interesting to hear even that journey as they were traveling back, how difficult it was to get out. And of course, we'll get the very latest from you, Sophie, as of course we know you'll bring us everything pertaining to this particular story. That is our international news editor, Sophie Mokoena.